We are already poised for our afternoon session, and so too is our MC, Walker.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. By tomorrow morning, this great arena will have been transformed into the cauldron of the single table setup. But there are three massive quarterfinals to finish first before the players can prepare for the semis. And after that epic upset by Jack Jones, it's absolutely buzzing in here. So welcome back to day 12 at the Kazoo World Snooker Championship. Please welcome a player who is now just 3 frames away from a second world semi-final. He has been superb in Sheffield so far, thanks to a brilliant month of preparation and fitness. This, without doubt, one of the most important sessions of snooker in his entire career. Lean, keen, and ready to roll. Here comes Dave Gilbert. And his opponents, from 9-2 down last night, he dug deep, winning 4 of the last 5. Could he continue the comeback and return to the semis for the first time in 12 years? He will give this absolutely everything. As tenacious as he is talented, he's Stephen the Maverick Maguire. And now to a player who made a great start to his 5th Crucible quarter-final yesterday. He too has rediscovered his best form in Sheffield. Semis 3 years ago, champion in magnificent style in 15, a brilliant break builder. Here comes Stuart Ball Run Bingham. And finally, to the greatest player in history. From 3-1 down yesterday, he won 3 in a row in this, his record-extending 22nd Crucible quarter-final. 7 times a champion of the world, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
So once again, it's a day for keeping across 2 screens if you can. For now, the Maguire-Gilbert game live on the Red Button iPlayer and app, but we'll be spending the opening few frames at least watching the developing drama on table 2. Jack Jones will be watching closely too because he's playing the winner. Neil and John, it's all yours.
Thank you, Hazel, and good afternoon, everybody, for, well, a fascinating second session in this match. There's a great buzz of anticipation outside the Crucible today. Crowds flocking in, all to see this great man play. Hasn't really hit the heights yet in this year's championship, despite being in the quarter-final. Yeah. But you'd expect it to come sometime, Neil.
Yeah, I mean, my experience playing Ronnie here, I've played him twice, and both times were 13-10, but it was one session in particular in either one of those matches where he really came out strong.
Would you all please check your earpieces?
So I expect that to happen at some point during this match, whether it be this one or the next one. But generally the middle session is the one he really attacks and sort of throws everything at you. And it's up to you then to, if you can sort of withstand that or not.
Obviously pretty tight to get past that yellow for the side of the cluster. The referee's just checking there in case he does decide to play it.
Would you please do it again? We can hear everything here. Thank you.
Bit of a tempter with the red near the green. If he plays it, it's probably the only one he can leave, and even if he were to miss it, there's a good chance he could block it with one of the 3 bulk colours as well. So I think Stuart will be definitely taking this one on. So he's hoping to get the cover. The red's too thin, but there might be one next to the pink, so half a chance for Ronnie here.
Yeah, early test of cue in that one. Yep, if you're playing this one, you're going to be getting the middle of the white. Yep, that's pretty much the middle of the white. Lovely piece of cue in that. That looked very easy. There's quite a nice bunch here. If he wants to play a screw cannon, a bit of power.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
Almost like he hadn't made his mind up there. Looked perfect to go into the cluster, that, with power and screw. He definitely would have been promoted a red towards the corner, but almost like he hadn't made his mind up.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was an awkward one, really. I think he didn't know maybe to play a cannon on the red that was just above the black, and that's a really nice shot from Stuart there, pitching over the reds.
1.
Stuart won't be afraid of Ronnie, works with Chris Henry, and Chris will make sure he's definitely in a positive frame of mind. And thinking back thoughts to 2015, where Stuart played really well in the quarterfinal, I remember being on the other table at the same time against Barry Hawkins, and Stuart was knocking in a whole barrage of breaks going on, and finished off the match really well. So Stuart will be drawing on those kind of positive experiences that he's had against Ronnie, and I find it strange looking at the head-to-head that it's 18-3 in favour of Ronnie, which is unbelievable, because Stuart is someone who quite regularly practices with Ronnie as well, so you'd think he wouldn't be as intimidated or afraid as what some of the other players are.
Just run a little too far there.
Well,
Love to have been on the outside red of the cluster, but the cue ball's just gone a little too far. May have even played a cannon there on that top red, but it's just sneaked past. So now he's got a pot up into the yellow pocket. Yeah, I need a bit of respect these. I know that he's looking directly at the pocket, but anything that's hit a jaw here this week hasn't gone in.
Stuart Bingham 12.
Yeah, I'd be a little disappointed with that visit, Stuart. As I say, that cannon or the area he played into to fall on the red at the back of the cluster wasn't that difficult.
Yeah, whenever Ronnie does make a mistake, it's really important to pounce on them. You can't just keep letting him get away with unforced errors, because he will stop making them. At some point in this match, he will stop. And, so Stuart really needs to punish the mistakes, because if Ronnie grows and thinks that you're not up to, winning the match or putting him under any kind of pressure, he will start to relax, and then that's when he sort of gets a really good flow on and can win 2, 3, 4 frames in really quick succession, and then the match is out of your hands. So it's important that Stuart pounces on these mistakes.
Right in the balk area is going to cause a bit of grief here. Can't run away with the cue ball down there, so you'll end up a little bit of tapping in the back of the pack, trying to hide the cue ball. Not great, these types of frames. That players don't particularly like them, but they do come along now and again.
touching ball.
Yeah, about as good as he could have done with that situation there, Stuart. He's blocked off the run into the back of the pack. Can't come off the right-hand side cushion because of the loose red. So, a little shake of the head there from Ronnie, looking at it and thinking, what I'm going to play here. Once again, he doesn't really want to play that pot to the top pocket or the middle. That was quite a clever little shot from Stuart, that. Yeah, forced into it. That safety shot didn't sound like the cleanest of contacts, it has to be honest. Yeah, jumped.
Yeah, and of course Ronnie's one of the last remaining players not to use the Town chalk, which you obviously don't get any kicks when you use that chalk, but I think Ronnie still likes using the triangle. Maybe he gets a little bit better grip on the tip. But yeah, so sort of like the pros and cons really of using different chalk when you play. But you know, even I think Judd Trump has recently changed to the Town because he lost a few matches earlier last season, I think, because of kicks. And so, but yeah, Ronnie for some reason still sticks to the triangle, and therefore he's the only top player who kind of still gets kicks. But you can't really argue with his results this season. So you know, he still likes using it. Great chance for Stuart here now as well. I think he's perfect on this red. Get an angle on the blue, and then he'll definitely be going into the pack knowing how Stuart break builds. Always tries to get the reds really open and early as well. And when you're playing Ronnie, the important thing is as well that if you're under a little bit more pressure, to actually get into the reds really early. So you're not sort of like relying on little touchy sort of control and positional shots, because when you're playing Ronnie, sometimes in particular in early sessions, yeah, there can be just a little bit more pressure on you, and you know, so you need to get the balls open. So a situation like this, I'm surprised Stuart didn't play for the blue. The fact that he's still looking to pick these off means he's probably not still, you know, fully confident just yet.
Yeah, just plotting now just to see what angle he'd like to leave on the black, just to stun up into the back of the cluster. Now, has he found the plant or something, or is it going to be a power on the pink? Very well worked out. There was a plant there, but the plant was to kick the red out towards the corner. Nicely controlled that. And worked out that little 3-ball was going to promote this red, and it has.
$22.
So which way would you be going here, Neil, to get to the reds? Would you be playing on a ball colour or trying to get back down for blue?
I'd like to go into them off the blue, because I think the pink's got a nice little gap there into like the two clusters of two reds. It's actually a really unusual shape of a pack there, isn't it? So I think he certainly played for the blue, and he has the angle. The blue is thinner than probably what it looks on the television screen, but if he catches the pink full ball, I can't see how he's not on a red. He's hit it perfect. He's hit it quite hard, actually. So he's lost the cue ball a fraction. And I think he's probably a little bit unlucky there. He has to play really...
33.
This is a very awkward red with the rest. Stuart is very good with the rest, though, it must be said. But he's got them open. That's why I thought maybe he might go into the blue a little bit earlier. But you did spot like the reds that were a plant, so maybe that's why he was put off from going into the blue earlier. He's played that perfect.
34.
Yeah, the split was a little bit unlucky just to leave that one. The reds and the black all seem to line up, but now he can get to the right-hand side of the table. This is a lovely chance. And one, he'll be mortified he doesn't win the frame from, because this is a proper chance here. And once he pots this red and the black, he'll free the
39.
pocket for the other red that's near the black. Yeah, Stuart was thinking about playing the other red above it, but it was quite tight, and why take the chance when the other one was a certainty? And this is usually where Stuart Bingham's at his best. Very heavy scorer,
47.
Excellent break builder. So, just wants this black to leave Ronnie leading a snooker. And it goes. And this has been a very good visit from Stuart Bingham. And an important one, you feel?
55.
Had a little chat with him up in the players' lounge just before he came out today. He seemed very relaxed and looking
56.
forward to it.
$63.
I always think it's another important thing when you're playing Ronnie is to, there's obviously a century on for Stuart here, so you know he'd love to make the century to get a bit more of the crowd on his side as well. If you can, you know, play really good snooker against Ronnie and the crowd can really appreciate what you're doing, then you know there's part of them that you know want to see and can continue to see the really good snooker that you're playing. You know, not just make it all about kind of like the Ronnie O'Sullivan show, which sometimes you can get the feeling that is the case when you're in the chair and Ronnie's potting all the balls, making all the big breaks. You know, you want to feel a part of it too. And if Stuart can sort of go on to make a century, you'll certainly feel more part of it and feel like that, you know, it can be, you know, the Stuart Bingham show, if you like, if he can get on a run.
Yeah, he generally loves the century break, the Stuart, so this will be the key ball. No problem at all.
78.
Put that beautifully. So just something he's done thousands and thousands of times. Clear the colours up. And this is putting down a marker, showing his opponent he's here to play.
81.
And you can't take these much better. In lovely control.
83. $86. 90. $95.
So just this pink for the century break, and this has been beautifully constructed. Well played, Stuart Bingham. Beautiful century break. There it goes. Magnificent start. Second visit to the table. Had a chance earlier, but that was a good one there. 108. And Stuart Bingham takes the lead by 5 frames to 4.
He's more concerned about winning this match, winning this championship than sort of rankings. I don't think that would affect him in any way, shape or form. But what I would say, Stuart Bingham looks immaculate. He's playing some wonderful snooker. I'm very, very confident. He looks very relaxed out there.
Okay, Bingham ahead again, 5-4.
Yep, interesting views from Hazel and the boys, and yeah, you just feel as if, well, I was talking to Stuart earlier and he said, look, what's the worst that can happen? I get beat. He's well up for playing. Looking forward to the challenge, and that's what you have to embrace.
Very good break off from Ronnie, though. Yeah, there's not much on for Stuart at all here. He could play a super thin safety, but he'd have to be very careful of the red. And even if he pots this one, the black's not available, so I'm not too sure what he's looking at playing here.
I think he might be playing top cushion and trying to flick it on the way back. That one. Not bad, is it?
Yeah, well spotted. That was absolutely brilliant. Fantastic shot, that. He's always good at coming up with different ways of playing shots, is Stuart. He played one yesterday, which was incredible, where he hit the green onto a red that was on the side cushion. At first, I thought he missed the shot by about a foot, but it was a brilliant safety shot. He's always looking at different ways of playing different shots as Stu.
Yeah, it's very educational in this commentary box. You've been playing all the years you've been playing, and there was a shot you learnt yesterday. There you go. Job done.
Left the safety shot very short, did Ronnie, which is usually very unusual, especially when he's got his hand on the table. But he's left Stuart with one that is attempted to just float in for the black, and I mean, he really has to get it. I'm not too sure if he's trying to stun round the angles. Yeah, and he stuck the red up here.
Yeah, for half of that shot, it was looking all right till he got the cannon. Looking like the black had killed the cue ball, and then it's come back and the reds hit it and left it at a perfect angle. Well, to at least get the cue ball out into the open play. Just wondering whether he could play through the gap and can he certainly get on the pink. 2 ways he could get on the pink. Depends which one he wants to. He could just play run through off the side cushion back out again, or the little stun up between the gap, but it looks like it's the run through. Well, he did. So conscious was he of the position. If he got to pot the red, he was almost up and walking round there.
Yeah, and we have seen in the tournament so far that the pockets are definitely playing tighter than probably the previous 6 or 7 years. But Ronnie O'Sullivan is a fantastic player on tight pockets, so that's not really what the issue there with that shot is. It's just the positional side of it that he was sort of like up and running to play the next shot before it even went in. And, oh my goodness! Then, I mean, well, Stuart absolutely has to punish that. I can't believe he's just let Ronnie back in the balls there.
Yeah, that was all about trying to hold the cue ball for position on the black there and forgot to pot the red. This visit will tell us a little bit how Ronnie's feeling, because these are, well, 6, 7 or 8 reds nicely spread. Usually where he's at his absolute best, so let's see what he makes of these.
Six. 7, sorry.
Yeah, just looking to see if he can just hold the cue ball virtually where the red is and then play left-handed on the black. Changed his mind.
8.
Back up for blue.
Thirteen. Fourteen.
Once again, well, I'm saying that he's usually absolutely spot on. Has got a little bit of angle. Well, there's a better player in the game for getting the right side of the blue. Seems to be every single time he plays it, he's there.
19.
He's so good at working out these kind of situations, is Ronnie, when the black's off at spot in particular. He's very good at sort of working out the pattern of play, thinking several shots ahead of, you know, how to get the black back on its spot, because once
20.
it gets back on its spot, the break becomes a lot easier to get under control. He'd love to have an angle on this red to play into the pack and still maintain position on the black.
25.
He'll absolutely hate that shot.
26.
Completely missed it. Actually got into the cue ball too much. The cue ball arced round the pack. Didn't take the grip till too late. And you see it. Not like him, that.
Wait.
Yeah, he always does that, Ronnie, whenever he gets the white cleaned, or if a referee's taking a long time to put the pink, you know, below a pack of reds or something. He just sits down and composes himself, gets him ready for the next shot. This is a really tough shot, though.
Yeah, he'll absolutely be hating himself at the minute for not making more of that.
26.
Trying to play the shot you mentioned. As you see him miss the yellow, but the one where he missed the pack, you won't be happy with that.
One.
I wonder if Stuart was looking at, he's sort of placing his cue the shot before, just to see where he wants to leave himself on the black. I don't know if he'll play into the pack here off this and still maintain position on the loose red that's below the pack. Yeah, he has done. Oh, he's unlucky there. Jeez. He doesn't even have the red in the middle, so Ronnie is led off with only 8 points scored by Stuart, and
8.
yeah, that was a big opportunity there.
Yeah, if he hits red 1 or 2, he's fine. He's at the third one. The one on the outside. No, he can't see it. It was the right shot to play. It's just gone wrong.
Sure, Bingham 8.
Well, it looks like you can see this, but this will be some piece of cueing to pop this and run around the angles for the black. He might consider it's the only one he can leave, but this requires good cueing. Which you've got. Fabulous pot. Absolutely fabulous. Even that was interesting. You would have thought he'd have played a little cannon himself there, wouldn't you, to hold the cue ball in that
8.
pack, the cluster, but decided to play for the loose one, because you're going to have to split
9.
them up at some point.
Yeah, I think he certainly will do now. But yeah, I was very surprised he didn't play it earlier. It's very unlike Ronnie to do that. He usually goes into the pack at every
6.
opportunity. Because like you say, he had to go into them eventually, even if he picked off these next 2 reds. So that was very strange. And now he's got a really testing long red he has to go for now. This is a big shot for this session. Oh, that's brilliant.
17.
Absolutely brilliant. Timed it so well to screw back to the blue. He hardly hit the cue ball here. It's just pure timing to get the white back like that.
Yeah, 2 unbelievable pots in this break already. I'm sure he's not delighted with the fact they had to play the second one, losing the cue ball, but that was a great piece of cueing.
22.
And now he's got these just where he wants them.
Yeah.
Once again, cue ball's picking up something.
It's quite interesting, the new arrangement that they got here at the Crucible with almost like a little booth there for the players. I don't know if they sort of built that further back to give the players a bit more space while they're sat down, but interesting. And the reason why I say that is because the long red that Ronnie knocked in
23.
earlier, he was almost standing on the step to try and sort of like pick the angle of the long red as he was about to walk into the shot. And we know how much I like to walk into the shot, so I'm not too sure if I could have played it.
30.
Yeah, this time a split that hasn't gone great. Yes, he can pot a red. Probably the clip in the corner. He's at the jaw. Certainly not going swimmingly well. There was 2 brilliant long pots in that break, but his position's not on point yet, which is very unusual.
He's got it reasonably safe though, hasn't he? And Stuart's just come round to see if he can play this red really thin if the red's a big pocket over the right-hand side there. He doesn't have too many shots on here, does Stuart? Yeah.
I was about to say, Neil, as well, if he got a 2-in-1 shot here, try and flip the yellow out into play. And he did, just. We'd like to have knocked it more into play. But it was a clever little shot. At least he's at the table, and where it's finished is very nice. Well, that is just unbelievable what can happen.
6.
Flick off the pink and land on the red on nothing.
Touching ball.
What a game it is. Trying to get right in behind the brown here. and played it very well. Very well.
Foul. No mess. Stuart Bingham 4.
Yeah, not absolutely straightforward escape. Figure 8 on the angles. Obviously doesn't want to run round the back of it to leave it on. So I'm not surprised the first attempt was a little short. Almost like a sighter.
Stuart.
No, he's played it perfectly. That's quite interesting though, because he didn't play that shot left-handed. Usually he always plays everything left-handed, unless he has to play with the rest. So maybe just thought on that particular shot he would have a better touch with the rest than what he would do left-handed.
Trying to get the top cushion and cover everything. Mid behind the pink and the one in Bork are covered. He's trying to get it in a position where the black would cover the other two. So he's thinking well.
He's just glanced up to me as well, Stu, and given me a nice big smile. So it's a good sign, actually. You know, he's feeling good. It's almost like he can hear us in the box. But he's definitely up for this, Stuart. Very good signs for him. Because, I mean, barring the cannon, you know, he would have had a great chance to clear up. But and this red needs to... Oh, it's just run on.
That was a very good shot from Ronnie. He couldn't absolutely know where they're going to finish. And Stuart taps the table, but to get into the cue ball that much and have the perfect amount of side to glue it to the cushion was a great shot. A lot better than it looked. What shot you like in here? Go on, I'll put you under the cosh.
Well, he can play a containing shot, I think. I think he can just hit the red up to Bork and, you know, dump the cue ball somewhere reasonably safe. Try and cut this in the middle. Yeah, he's gone for it. That was a far more riskier option. And he's left this frame up now for him. I think probably because he was 38 behind that he took the initiative to be a bit more aggressive. I think that if he was 38 in front, I don't think he would have played that shot.
One.
Just got to be a little careful with the cue ball here. It's not absolutely straightforward to land on the red. So he's played, keep the cue ball further away and guarantee himself a shot at the red. Didn't go up to the cushion as he could have done.
6. Seven.
So Stuart Bingham was in with a pretty good chance. He's played a horrible cannon that went horribly wrong.
10.
Getting stuck on the reds when he cannoned the pink off the blue, and because of that a chance went begging.
11.
So he's getting chances, that's for sure.
15. 16. 22. 24. 27. 31. 36. 42.
Should be a nice little clearance. A 49 from Ronnie O'Sullivan, and indeed there is. And those chances, it has to be said, for both players in that one, but it's Ronnie O'Sullivan that takes it, and he levels at 5-all.
To play, Steve.
Yeah, but what Stuart Bingham's got in abundance is a love for the game. He just loves a challenge. Yeah, he loves being. I think he loves being centre of attention. You know, when he won the World Championship and he went on a bit of a buzz for what seemed like a year and a half, 2 years maybe, he was playing some great snooker. He can still do that.
He can indeed. He was back in the semi-finals in 2021. Came here as a qualifier back then, so he's been almost staying the journey since that victory in 2015, and he's inching closer towards another one here.
Well, he's broken off and given a shot to nothing. And Ronnie's long game has been, well, I was going to say been good so far today, but that was a wide. Didn't even hit the jaws with that one. Yeah, that wasn't close. Any time.
1.
He's right behind this, but these, as I say, been playing pretty tough. You don't get these absolutely right. Did he do that? Although Stuart might have fluked it. Okay. It's the only way you can get on the blue, was it? Stuart gives a thumbs up to the sky. You don't call him ball run for nothing.
No, he's got his one of his flukes out of the way already this session. He tends to have a good few of them, and just making a joke as well. You know, getting the crowd a bit more on his side. You know, cracking jokes and stuff like that. I remember Steve Davis talking about he used to hate it when Dennis Taylor used to joke and carry on with the crowd, and you know, almost turning it into an exhibition-like environment. You know, just to relieve the pressure a bit. So it's pretty good thinking from Stu just to do that. You know, keep the relaxed mode going on, and he definitely plays his best snooker when he's, you know, feeling good. He's making a few jokes with the crowd. It was a nice split from the blue as well. He's just pulled up short with the cue ball there, so be a bit disappointed with that. He has the pink. Not too sure what kind of angle he's got if he's cannoning into this red on the top cushion. He would have loved to have been on the blue properly there, so he could have you know, picked these off and cleared the path for the pink as well.
It's just so important, Neil, isn't it, that shot? I mean, it looks like absolutely nothing, but just being the correct side of the blue is so important. Maybe forced into a cannon of some sort here. Played round the back, took a red out. Might have been this one. The next red might be a useful one to remove, and I'm not for certain. But if you get down the left-hand side of the table, the black, as you can see, will pot now. So that wasn't a bad red to play on, that cannon. You've opened the table up if you can get back on a colour here. Pink doesn't pot, so it's blue in and out of the balk area. Handy yellow's not on its spot, I would think. And if he's landed on the red above the black nail, that's a proper shot.
25.
Yeah, he played that really well. Some players would play that with the check side, so right-hand side, playing the blue in and out of balk. But yeah, he played it off 2 cushions and played it really well. He may still have to play another cannon here, or can he avoid the reds? He could. So he'd love to land just off straight on the black to remove the 2 reds below the black spot here as well, just to clear everything up. He's not on it, so he'll have to work around the red just below the pack there, I think. Oh no, he could stun through, and yeah, will the black pass the 2 reds when it's back on the spot?
We'll soon know.
33.
Make a difference if it did. Yeah, that goes in there, so that's handy as well. I have to say that the shot he played early in the break with the pink to flick that red out when he played off the top cushion has proved to be a very good shot. It might look like too much, but it certainly opened this game up.
34.
It's been the key ball, I think. Yeah, here's the shot here we mentioned. Pots the pink, comes in. That red out the way. The black is then available, and he's on the other red. It was very well thought out there. These are the chances, Neil, on it, where you're in positions like this and you've got a 40-point lead, you just know you've got to get the extra 30 or 40 points now.
Yeah, he's just taking a little bit of time on this shot. He wants to make sure he gets it absolutely right. Swinging the white around off 2 cushions with a lot of side. He's played this absolutely perfectly. He's played this really well, and this will clear up the other 2 reds as well. So
45.
you can just stun in around the pink spot here, which is the ideal position you want to be in. It's always nice when winning a frame, you only need to play a series of little stun shots and around the pink spot. Very comfortable playing these kind of shots, and very hard to go wrong under pressure as well.
46.
Yeah, that last shot was lovely, wasn't it? Screwed around the angles with side, played in a way that, yes, he wanted to get on that red, but if he didn't, he was on the loose one on the right, so good thinking. I have to say, it's been a thinking man's break right from the start of this one. See why he makes so many century breaks.
52. $53.
He won't want to play on one of these 2 reds below the black spot unless he has to. He's sort of finished not quite ideal. He would like to stun up for those 3 reds below the pink spot to make clinching the frame much easier. Which is what he's done. And trying to force that angle, he's landed tight on the cushion. He didn't want to play for those reds below the black spot because he maybe would have had to play a cannon. That's why he's tried to force that in, and It probably wasn't on to force it up, not using a cushion. Probably had to hit a bit higher on the white to start on and off the cushion. This is a really missable pot now. Needs to cue this well, just trust his cueing. No, it was always tough that, and again,
Bingham,
another,
60.
you know, this came off the long red that Ronnie missed by quite some margin, and Stuart again hasn't been able to punish a mistake, and now Ronnie's got a great chance to get back into this frame.
Nothing worse is that you've tidied the table up, done most of the hard work, got the balls in good positions,
1.
and that loss of position, leaving himself the tricky red, has left a counter clearance, or a possible one, for someone who does it with frequent regularity. This could hurt.
Eight. Nine.
You can be absolutely sure he's seeing this as a challenge, and he knows this could be a big juncture of this match if he can win a frame here that he never looked like he was in. We say on numerous occasions, it's not the ones you should win, it's winning
17.
the ones you shouldn't.
Yeah, that's right. The match with Dave Gilbert and Stephen Maguire. It finished 7-1 in the first session, but Dave Gilbert won three frames on the black, which proved to be the difference in the 6-frame lead. And the good thing about the last red being along the cushion there is that it's on the right side of the table to just drop it in and then leave a low black to just sort of drop the black in and then go up for the yellow, which is off its spot nearer the hole. So this isn't going to be too much of an issue. As long as Ronnie lands with a good angle on the black here to get on the red, he just needs to drop the red in. He doesn't need to do anything with the cue ball.
Yeah, these have been the test this week, though, have to be said. The hardest I've seen them along the top cushion for a while, which is a good thing to test. So you would think this would be the only impediment to the clearance.
40.
Yeah, he just has to drop this in. He's played this. Oh. Now that actually would have dropped last year. You know, playing here myself last year, that definitely would have dropped and gone in. I thought he actually played that well. It looked like it just dipped into the cushion just a fraction. And yeah, this year those aren't going in. And I must admit it is good to see, because probably the last 5 or 6 years being a player here, and other players as well, felt that the pockets were playing too big for, you know, high standard. Not that they were like club pockets by any stretch of the imagination, but there were shots that perhaps shouldn't have gone in, and oh, there you go, it's catching. That wouldn't have been in on the 9-ball table. That was just pure pressure. That was from
Yeah, that was a twitch. No other way about it. He knew full well. I mean, how many he'd miss of those in a season, I do not know. And that's purely the occasion, nothing else. Should have won this frame twice, and he's got to sit there as he talks to himself and watch the frame be stolen. Can't have any excuse really with the second one. That's unforgivable. The black off the spot, and he knows it.
14.
He'll know he's got away with one here, Ronnie. And how big a frame might that be psychologically? Well, Stuart Bingham had 2 fabulous chances in that frame, and for all money looked like winning it. The black is unforgivable, and it's Ronnie O'Sullivan who takes the lead at 6 frames to 5.
Oh, a lot
of momentum because of that.
Yep, and indeed there's just one more frame before their mid-session interval, so a key phase of this match. And Ken, it's enjoyable so far, isn't it?
It's brilliant,
there's lots to enjoy.
I mean, it's just, it's sort of letting Ronnie off the leash a little bit there, you know, because he's played brilliantly, he's looked confidently, probably should have won the frame a little bit earlier, but that glorious chance, as long as he just tries to forget it as best he can, but sometimes that can harp in the memory, and it could be a big game swinger.
OK, weathering the storm. I wonder how Stuart will cope. I talked about that little mantra that he had before he was going out about, yep, Ronnie's going to get some spurts in this match. You've got to stick with him. Key phase in that regard.
Yeah, it doesn't mean to say that, you know, the wheel's completely fallen off, and you can, as long as you get a couple of chances in the next frame. But if Ronnie O'Sullivan were likely to just make a frame-winning contribution one visit, and then all of a sudden you're sort of sitting in your chair more stewing, it can be tough out there sometimes.
OK, still just the one in it, though. Frame 12.
Yeah, fascinating stuff, and as Ronnie breaks off. But Neil, I mean, looking back at that black that Stuart played in the last frame, I mean, there's alternatives to the way he played it as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Myself, I would have just rolled it on and off the cushion for the yellow, making the pot much easier, because the yellow was off its spot as well. It was almost over the hole, so he wouldn't have missed the yellow either. I think the way he played that sort of gave it every chance of missing under pressure. So yeah, I mean, he's once again he's let Ronnie off the hook here, and Stuart could have quite easily won the first 3 frames of this session, but he finds himself 6-5 down.
It's a thin clip. Don't think there's any intention to pot in that. It's just to get out of trouble. Cue ball's very close. But once again, here's an example. Just flicked the near jaw. The cue ball didn't drop in. They've been a proper test here since the championship started. He's angled from seeing that red. May just have to be able to play to the right-hand red here.
Well, he certainly didn't mean to do that. He just tried to leave the white in the corner of the pocket there, and he wouldn't have left this red on. But in a way, he's half got away with it, because this red is very straight and Stuart can't play for any colour. And then there's a one through the pack where, okay, if you're in practice, you would get down and he would have already played this, and this is a huge frame. If he loses this and goes 7-5 down, Ronnie can sort of start to relax a bit more and maybe get some good flow going. And so I think he just has to play safe here.
Yeah, this is where you've got to show a bit of patience, isn't it? It's not always easy. See that many reds move around after safety shot. You think to yourself, I want to go at something, but you've just got to play the correct shot. Cue ball to the left-hand side of the table could be more beneficial. That's what he was trying to do, and certainly will be now with yellow and brown. So if Stuart can get the cue ball over that side, makes the return safety that more difficult. Not managed it. Too skinny. Yeah, that's better. That's where it's more trouble. think he's covered the outside red with the pink. It may actually be. Well, there's certainly a gap to get back to the balk, but whether he can pot this red and do it. No, it was the safety, but it was the gap was more important.
Wonder if he might be tempted by this long red and screw the cue ball to the side of the cushion there. He wouldn't be leaving anything on apart from this red, or if it were to collide against another red. He hit it pretty well. He would have been happy with how he hit that, but he's been very unlucky if he's left the red over the hole. I don't know if the pink covers it or not.
Yeah, I think he's got the cover. I don't think that's, yeah, as you can see, not available. But, you know, that shot was played with the elements of safety. Knew full well. And there's not really much Stuart can do here. He's just having a look to see if he could leave the cue ball where he's punching his cue, but how does he get there? I think he's played this very well. He's got the cover. Yep. So it's a good shot there from Stuart. I think if he just drops on this red on, that's by the middle pocket, I don't think he'd leave the other one in the corner. And he's played it very cleverly to make sure that red he's played off wasn't potable. Wow, he has left the gap. And there's a shake of the head from Ronnie O'Sullivan sitting in his chair, because that was not the plan. That was supposed to be covered.
One.
I was about to say there, where Stuart was lining that up, he was almost lining to hit the other side of the ball, and on his follow-through, see there, he's looking to aim to miss this. He's actually aiming to miss the pot, but as he's come through, he's changed the direction of the cue, and that's why he's not potted it as cleanly as what he was intending. So he'll be quite annoyed with that, Will Stuart, because there's a good chance to get on the pink and possibly get into this frame.
Stuart Bingham 1.
I don't know whether you can see enough of this. I mean, well, Ronnie thinks he can, but this is going to be very fine, this edge. And it was about all he had there. There doesn't seem to be any value in the red unless you can. Well, he is taking it on. He'd better knock it in, that's for sure. I didn't really see the value in that, if I'm being honest. What about you, Neil?
Yeah, I think you just try to sort of make something happen there, screw off the two reds and maybe be on the pink in the middle. At first glance, it looks like he's half got away with it. I'm not too sure if there's maybe a plant on for Ronnie, or he's coming around to have a look at this red. This is a really tough shot, bridging over the balls here. I don't even know if he'll go for this. It's really awkward. You're bridging over 4 or 5 reds. Say if this would be a pot that you'd probably get 7 out of 10 maybe. It's probably about a 50-50 at best, bridging over. Yeah, he's why he didn't even attempt it. There's definitely the right shot to play there.
Yeah, it was a good run of the ball for Stuart, that wasn't it? You're playing that mid-range red, cannoning into everything. You can expect you're going to leave something, but It was a very good result he got. Ronnie just showing patience correctly. Yeah, he would be very disappointed with that as an attempt to safety. Once again, if he can get the cue ball down yellow and brown area. Yeah, that's pretty good there.
He does that a lot, Ronnie, as well. When he's playing safe, not only does he put side on every shot to manipulate the cue ball well, he's also not afraid of pushing a red into a potable position because he backs himself to get the cue ball, and which he's done there. He's used the blue to block one side of the pack, and he knew that the target of the yellow and brown was a good one to also block this red. Just a containing shot here from Stu. Better hope the white doesn't roll off. He's flicked his cue up in the air to maybe say that it did. I think he's okay, unless this is a plant, but I mean, I don't think Ronnie can do anything with the cue ball, so he'll just be trying to get the cue ball similar to where he got it before, but tight to the cushion.
Yeah, as I say, if there's a colour to go for, you'd think he might look at the plant, but there's no value in that. Because you can't get on a colour.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
Right, smile, but trust me, that's not the worst result from where he was. If it rattles in the jaws and goes in amongst the reds and colours, it would be, but going in the pocket isn't too bad.
I used to sometimes playing Joe Perry in practice and, you know, maybe miss-hit one like that and going off, and Joe would accuse me of playing the deliberate enough there to try and to get the white back to bulk. I think Walter Lindrum certainly would have been proud of that enough from there, and like you say, that could have rattled in the jaws and left Ronnie in with a chance. So Stuart's got away with a couple of poor shots so far early in this frame. Ronnie will be fine though, he'll be patient. I think he's trying to swing this around, open up the reds and get the white in, get the cover with the blue and the yellow and the brown. He always takes a chance to play the aggressive safety whenever he can.
Chance for Stuart here. He hasn't got what he wanted. Stuck the red out, and he's got the angle to get round. So one good pot required here. Certainly get on blue or pink. That was a chance. I know it's not easy, but didn't hit it very well. Look where the cue balls ended up.
Yeah, he didn't really sort of like try and float that one nicely for the blue. It's almost like he was playing for the yellow and brown there into the green pocket, and that's saying that someone's not overly confident with their long game. And we saw the graphic there of the session long pot success. It's at 0%, and that definitely has to improve from Stuart's point of view. And Ronnie's just played a great safety shot there. Very tough to get this back to bulk. I think Stuart's coming around to have a look at maybe dropping on these two reds, play a containing safety. So Ronnie's in full control over this safety exchange now.
Yeah, of course, good news as well now. Black is back in play, somewhat, even if the spots are occupied. Just trying to force a mistake. He's definitely in the driving seat, that's for sure. Every time Stuart's coming, he's got a harder shot. There's nothing particularly appetising about this one coming up.
That was a good shot, that. Okay, he didn't get the white onto the bulk cushion, but he'll be pretty happy with how he manipulated the cue ball there to miss the black and get back to bulk. Not the most difficult safety shot for Ronnie here. I don't think this red cuts in. No, there's no way it cuts in. So Ronnie will just be playing this, coming back to bulk. Maybe using the jaw, is he? Yeah, he did. Very clever shot. Look at the line he's got there.
Yeah, had a pretty decent result with the cue ball as well there. Awkward spot. Slightly hampered, certainly would be going the other way, so just can drop on the two reds again.
Really good way to cue ball there again from Ronnie. I see him practicing this a lot actually. He just practices with just the cue ball and another, like a red on the table. And he just practices those kind of drop shots where he's just getting really good pace onto the cue ball to always make sure it's on the cushion. And like I say, he's not always overly bothered where the object ball goes, but as long as he keeps nailing that white tight on the cushion, you know, anything is missable. And of course you can't get as much purchase on the cue ball, so you can't manipulate angles and put side on the ball. So Stuart there, all he can do is just play an up and down, playing ball. And now Ronnie's coming back to the table, well, with his hand pretty much on the table, but now Ronnie has freedom to pretty much try and put the cue ball wherever he wants here. And that target of the yellow and brown is looking like a good one. He does like playing the thin safety shots, Ronnie, with loads of side. So he's using the check side there of 2 to try and straighten up the cue ball. The line was very good, but he just caught it a fraction thick. The idea was right, though.
Frame time's just gone past 18 minutes, and so they seem to have been playing in this particular safety bout for most of that. It's just one of those things. If two players are very good in the safety department, as they are, one's usually setting the questions and the other one's finding the right answer. So it makes it hard to get in. Unless you do that, which is a beautiful strike of the cue ball. Do with a flick.
One.
Got one. That was a really good pot, particularly after the long bout of safety. Had a flick on the brown, landed on the green. Where do you want to finish here, Neil?
Yeah, there's quite a few reds blocking each other. I think he certainly wants to come down the table. There are a couple of reds. I think one of them above the black spot pots and the two reds into the middle pot on the right-hand side of the table. As he directly screwing up. It's a little blind pocket shot. And these are always awkward. Definitely need your full attention on these kind of shots. So he's played to screw up the table to come the other side. I thought the green was thinner than that, and not too bad. He'll be pretty happy with that. He would have liked to have been straighter on the red, of course, but I think it's okay. He played the shot well. He played to the area, which is what you always want to do. You always want to play for areas. You're not necessarily playing for one particular ball. So it's a bit unfortunate in a way, because if the cue ball rolls on another few inches, he's on one of the other two reds perfectly, and if it pulls up an inch or so, he's on this one. So he'd just be sort of playing a nice soft screw in between the gap. Just went in, which is why he's lost the white a little bit as well.
That in some ways can just sharpen the senses up there, because that wasn't a good strike. He nearly missed that red. Went into the near jaw with a bit of a wobble. Hence, as Neil said, sometimes playing one of those at the start of what you hope will be a big break just makes you focused a bit more. Makes you find the middle of the pocket.
That was a much better shot than what it looked. Played that really well. So he can pop this red in the middle now and maybe land on the pink. Possibly the black. It might have to go back onto the brown spot. It looks like there might be a spot there for the black to go back on its spot, which would probably tie up a few reds. So Stuart won't really want to do that at this stage. He'll just want to be playing, you know, as many sort of like pinks as possible.
Hello.
It's gonna. Well, he has to go for the black now. I'm not too sure he intended to play on the black there. If it does go on its spot, it's not too bad. But if it doesn't, it'll go back on the pink spot.
Well, amazingly, it did go in there. But they won't be potting that one for a while. So good position required around pink and blue for the time being. He's looked very good here. Once he's got going this afternoon. He certainly did in the last frame when he made the break of 60. Only to miss that red in the corner and lose the frame. The actual break building has been what Stuart Bingham does. Very good. I think in this visit he's very mindful to make sure that 60 turns into 75 plus.
Six.
Well, amazingly, I think that black does pot. It looked virtually tied up from where we are, but there you can see it. It does go.
40.
Yeah, come too straight on the other red there, that's closest to the cue ball. That was nearly a miscue. Which is why the file's coming out.
You don't usually see that, a player actually carrying a file in his pocket. Usually they'll maybe put it under the table or by their chair. And I just heard Stuart there as he played that, he said that it kicked. Two reasons why that could have been. One is because of the chalk that Ronnie used. Sometimes that can transfer on the table, and the other one is because he's striking down on the ball, that can also cause the object ball to come off at a thicker angle than what you're anticipating. But either way, this is a very, very thin blue. No. Well, he's got away with it in a way here as well.
Stuart Bingham, 41.
But again, another frame where he just hasn't quite been able to finish it off. He was a bit unfortunate with the contact on the red, it must be said, but you'd still expect him to pot the blue. This is a very tough red in the middle for Ronnie here. All he has to do is float it in though, with the brown being off its spot, so he only has to sort of come on and off the bulk cushion. And he always had the safety as well. If he missed the shot thick, then he was always going to get a good cue ball and never leave anything on. So I think he may have covered all the reds here as well with that shot. So it was quite a clever shot that Ronnie played, getting the cue ball where it was.
Yeah, this time Stuart can't really drop on the two reds that are on the top cushion, just in case he leaves the one that's behind the black. So change your plan. He needs to drop on the single red closest to the black spot on the top cushion, if he can. Yeah, that should be okay. Once again, as you were saying, there was an example of the cue ball being as close to the cushion as possible. Just makes the return so much more difficult.
Be quiet as possible, please.
Well, the yellow and brown, really good target to get in behind now. Stuart can open things up a bit here if he plays this. He may even have a shot to nothing on. If he can miss these two reds. No, he's played the other red. But he's tried to get that that target, which I suggested. Not quite. Seems to have got the gap here. Still a good cue ball though.
Yeah, Stuart the one, of course, with the 38-point lead. So the last thing Stuart wants to do is tidy the table up with that particular lead. He only needs one good chance, and 20 or 30 points to be over the line. So the last thing he wants to do is make a counter clearance possible. And this red might be a potable one in a minute, and I think it is.
Yeah, and the natural angle, which is Stuart's looking at now, is possibly taking the cue ball into these two reds. So I don't know if Stuart's going to try and play this and use one of these two reds to hold for the pink, possibly. That's what he's done. It's quite unlucky, really, to get the double kiss like that. And this this pink is, again, probably a shot in practice. You maybe go for it, but when in a match situation like this, you're never going to take this on. He might even look to put one of the bolt colours safe here.
I'm about to say to you, that'd be the shot, wouldn't it? Put something safe if you could. You know, you've got the lead of 39 points. Let's have another insurance policy.
Stuart Bingham won.
Developed into one of those frames now that's hard match play, so a 39-point lead is pretty useful.
One.
Handy fluke there, Ronnie digging down, trying to get loads of left-hand side to swing it around the angles to find that target of the brown and yellow. Fortunate, obviously, to pot the red, and now he can lay a really telling snooker for Stuart. He wants to make this as hard as possible, so he can't just like drop on one of the reds. It looks like he'll have to come off multiple cushions as well. So that's always the objective when you're rolling up behind one of the bolt colours. You want to leave your opponent having to come off a couple of cushions, which makes guessing not only the angle very tough, but also the pace. So I think, because the red is on in the middle as well, Stuart would like to play off 3 or 4 cushions here.
I think he'll do well to get out of this and not leave some sort of pot.
Oh, no miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
Yep, he was in a bit of a pickle there. Just trying to work out a plan to see if he can actually get down to the scoring zone. Two reds above the black. I think the top one definitely pots in the top left-hand pocket.
One.
And I think the one behind the black may also pot. So he's got an area to play on, like Neil mentioned earlier, when you're playing position. There's an area he can play into. If he's not on one, he'll be on the other.
Five.
Yeah, not great. As I say, the one behind the back doesn't actually pot, so it was only this one he could play on. And that's some shot.
6.
Powered in.
I think he's a little bit unlucky where he's finished with the cue ball here. He might be slightly hampered by this red. Can just get through.
Well, I've seen him do some wonderful things in the time, but if he clears up with here from this visit, the way the balls are placed, I'll never believe it. Green and blue, horrible. These reds aren't fantastic, certainly the one next to the black.
30.
It's come up short for the pink, which is the intended target. Now, it's a big shot. He's playing the black to flick the red out. This is a toughie. We've been saying how hard these pockets are. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant pot.
$20. Yeah.
I'm not too sure if he's on this red, actually. Having a look at this. He's just looking to see if the black is rocking off its spot. There, it looked like it just rocked a little bit there on the spot.
Yeah, the trouble with them being so fine, it only takes a couple of days' play and the weight of the black ball itself sitting on the spot to create a little crater. And that's definitely what happened there, Neil. It just was sitting there.
Yeah, so
there you can see it going, can't you?
It's rocking. So what she needs to do here is just to sort of flatten the spot a little bit. There, see, it's always wanting to rock down. This is really vital that Desislava gets this right.
It's a horrible situation, isn't it? This is because it's so important. I mean, if you can see the red, it looks like there's a. Well, he's definitely going to be right back in the frame, and he's still on the table with a scoring chance, of course. But once it sits there, it just wants to have a rock.
Yeah.
There.
And all it takes is like not even a millimetre really for the difference between him being able to pot this with a trace of side and possibly having to play safe. Yeah, so what Ronnie's doing here, this is really good sportsmanship.
Anyway, so
I
also see it rolling, so
yeah.
I'll do my best to. Yeah.
So what Ronnie's saying is let Stuart have a look. So what Desislava could do in this situation is hold the black on its spot before it wants to rock, and then show Stuart whether or not Ronnie can get through to the red and actually pot it. So if she just holds the black there,
it has to go on the spot. So. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure what the outcome is now.
Yeah.
Ronnie definitely doesn't want to get an advantage out of this.
Spot it because I could also see it rolling, but it stayed this time.
I just haven't through the bed, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, Stuart could have a look if he wants, but.
Great sportsmanship from Ronnie. This.
I'm saying it's right on the spot now, so. Yeah, but I'm saying this time it's on the spot, so it didn't roll off. It did not move, so it did not move this time when I put it, so it's staying. Yeah, but.
Still don't know whether he can pot it. What do you think?
I mean, Ronnie's a character that even if he believes the black isn't on its spot, he would probably play safe. He definitely doesn't want to take an advantage here, but it's such an unusual situation with this. I've never really sort of seen it before, where it's all down to whether or not the black is actually rocking or not on and off its spot.
Okay, but this is the last time.
I know,
Yeah, so Ronnie can pot it as it is, and he just wants to make sure that he can't pot it cleanly without using any side. So as long as Ronnie thinks it's maybe like a tiny little bit of, he has to play it with right-hand side. I mean, there it looks like it goes easily, and that's what Ronnie's concerned about.
Yeah, but it is on the spot, yeah.
So Ronnie's saying he doesn't even want to play the shot because he feels as though it's on too easily. So he's looking to play safe here, even though he can pot the red. It's unbelievable. I mean, if he plays safe here, this will be probably the greatest bit of sportsmanship I've ever seen in any sport. Unbelievable. That is incredible. He could have potted that red.
Yep. That's what makes our game so great. It really is. Wasn't sure, so didn't take it.
I've never seen anything like that before. The only thing I can think of is when Stephen Hendry was playing Jimmy White in the final of the World Championships. The referee gave a free ball against Jimmy, and Stephen came to the table and said that he didn't think it was a free ball. Then the referee double-checked it and proved that it wasn't. But not since that have I seen sportsmanship of that kind of level. That really is it's absolutely incredible what Ronnie's done there. To refuse a pot with a great chance of going 7-5 up because he didn't believe that he could get through to the red if the black was perfectly on its spot. And it's through no fault of the referee either. Desislav is one of the very best we have. It's just one of those situations in this sport where, like I say, not even a millimetre can make the biggest of difference.
Yeah, you're a football fan, Neil. You'll remember the other one when Paolo Di Canio didn't score the goal at Goodison Park when our keeper was lying on the floor, picked the ball up and wouldn't score. I can remember that one very well, even though Harry Redknapp wasn't happy, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think he docked him a week's wages for that, didn't he? Yeah, great shot from Stuart.
Yeah, that was a funny set of circumstances for all that to come to fruition, really, because if the cloths were new and they'd just been put on, that little dish that was there wouldn't have happened anyway. That wouldn't occur with a new cloth. It's just that it's been on a few days, and as I say, even just leaving the balls, so if you leave them overnight on your snooker table, just the sheer weight, you'll end up getting dishes in either your spots or the cloth, whichever you choose to use. So it was a funny set of circumstances all round, but brilliant sportsmanship, that's for sure.
Still, it's quite a bit to do with this red. It's very tricky. Playing it across the table. It's also a lot thinner than what it looks on the television screen. But all he needs is just a colour after this. Yeah, he played that really well.
9.
Not perfect on the pink, but he only needs the pink, so no heroics here. Yeah, you just stun this in and accept the fact that Ronnie only needs one snooker.
Yeah, and don't do what you did on the black in the last frame. Miss game ball. Little bit of a stretch, so the mini extension will be on the cue. Why does it only happen on frame ball, Neil? It's amazing, isn't it, when you just need to have a little stretch.
Yeah, no problem. But a long way to go in this frame yet, because if Ronnie ever does get a chance to pot the yellow and get close to the green, he can lay a really, really good snooker. Also, those two balls together, the blue and the green together, also like a really good area as well to lay a snooker behind. So Stuart will be well aware of that, and he definitely knows he's not out of the woods just yet. So needs to play a really telling shot. You see it a lot with players. They pot frame ball and then they relax and then they play a bit of a careless shot, and then all of a sudden, someone can come back to the table and lay a really good snooker.
Yeah, once you've been in the commentary box long enough, you know what's coming. Don't worry. We've been doing this for a good few years, and we see the players think they're over the line, and next minute, another 20 minutes, half an hour. Mental aggravation. He's just struggling with something. It's that his badge on his waistcoat or something is just affecting him there. So, yeah, you can see it rubbing up and down. I think that may have to get put in a different place on the waistcoat. Not a snooker. You should be able to just clip the edge of the green, the yellow I should say, and leave it behind there. That's the intention. Get the snooker back. Not difficult to hit, of course. I'm just wondering whether there's a shot here, Neil, where you can screw into the cushion and try and hit the yellow full ball so it stops dead and you get the snooker back. Oh, it was on, but I didn't quite hit it right.
No, but those two balls have become even a better target now to Leo Snooker. And like you say, I think that was definitely the shot to play, and it's what Ronnie attempted. Yeah, this is a tough yellow. I mean, he's got to go for it, really. It was close.
Oh, that wasn't as planned. I think he's just left a little swerve for Stuart. He shouldn't really miss this.
Yeah, and he definitely doesn't want to put too much swerve on it and follow the wide in. I think it's just comfortable enough where, yeah, he doesn't have to do too much there. So it's Ronnie's conceding. There's only one snooker on the pink, but 6-all.
But the work that he's done with him clearly has borne wonderful fruit for him.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, sometimes players graft away and get no response or reward for all that hard work. But it's nice when it works. And if you've changed things, you feel confident those changes are working. And it's up to you to affect change as well. So the same for Kyron Wilson. He's been sort of perhaps working on his fluency. That seems to be working. Every player owes it to themselves to try and change things if things aren't working.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dave Gilbert looking forward to a match with either Kyron Wilson or John Higgins. They'll play to a finish tonight, as indeed will these men. Now, we've played 4 frames in this very interesting match of a possible 17 today. Very, very long back-to-back sessions for these fellas today. And still, there's nothing in it. We will return you to Neil and John.
Yes, thank you. And the auditorium has taken on a different persona again. Dividing wall has now gone up. And a nice bonus for the other side. Funny, actually, Neil, they were waving to each other. They hadn't seen each other with the wall down, and both sides of the auditorium were giving a little wave when it was did, and they've had an added bonus of getting to see Bingham and O'Sullivan.
Yeah, absolutely. And from a player's perspective, I always liked playing when the dividing wall would go up. In particular, if I was playing someone who I felt wasn't really comfortable with playing in like a one-table environment. Good shot from Stuart there, but I'd always hope the table next to me would finish much earlier than mine, because then the wall would come up, and then all of a sudden the arena just takes on a completely different perspective and certainly favours the better player, the more experienced player. Stuart is obviously very experienced playing in the one-table setup. He's, of course, a Masters champion as well as a world champion. But this does take on a completely different feel now. You know, Ronnie will enjoy it a lot more, and in particular, so will the crowd. The whole Crucible Theatre get to enjoy the rest of this match now.
Looks straightforward, this, but it's a slightly tricky, this green, because it's in a blind pocket. It's not in your eye line. Make sure you put enough cut on this. Those ones very easy to get wrong, which is why he keeps coming behind the green to look at the line for the pocket, trying to picture that. As I say, I've seen plenty of these missed. There you go. Tricky little shots, those.
Bingham won.
Yeah, he got up and down a few times, and that's always a sign that the player isn't completely comfortable with the shot, especially, you know, a little cutback like that. He didn't get away with it either. Although in saying that, I don't know what Ronnie tried to do there. I think he tried to swing it around off 2 for the black. Just completely misjudged the angle of that. That angle never really looked on from there.
Not really been at his absolute best with his long game so far today. Quite a few of these have been
Please make
missed.
sure your
As you
phones
can
are
see,
off or on
long pot
silent.
success is down at 33%, which is not great. Just builds the confidence if you can start knocking a few of these in. Dragged it, and still a little thick. Most of them have been thick down there today in that pocket.
Yeah, he played it in a sort of confident way. You know, he played to hold it for the black. He didn't try to sort of come back round down to balk. But this is a really tough red in the middle now. Really, really tough. As you can see there from the angle, there isn't much pocket to go at. This shot is all about timing. Just got to time it really sweetly. That's incredible.
Yeah, fabulous pot. Yeah, there's literally nothing to look at when you're down behind that. Well, two great shots, one after the other. I mean, the one in the middle pocket is brilliant, but that's a lovely little cannon just to hold. Ended up on two reds. And somewhere through this match, you get a feeling that he's going to start flying.
9.
Hasn't been anywhere near his best in this year's championship yet. He's not been pushed. And maybe now it's 6-6 against the former world champion. And it requires him to go up the gears. He may actually find a few.
And this is exactly where he wants to be as well. In and around the black spot, the ball's nice and open. There's quite a few reds that pot already before he even has to make a cannon.
17.
He could play a cannon into these group of reds here. I'm not too sure he will, because there's 3 reds that certainly go into the bottom left-hand pocket, as we see. And might even be able to screw across for the other reds as well into the middle of the pack. The white jumped a little bit there, but he's fine.
$24. $25.
Yes, and those of you who are eagle-eyed may have spotted he's actually swapped the logos round on his waistcoat as well, so that must have been done in the mid-session, because one of them was annoying him now, so kept catching on his waistcoat as he was taking the cue back. Just annoying sometimes when something like that happening. It's game's tough enough.
32.
Judged that really well. He wasn't quite perfect in either of the 2 reds there, but used the other red there as a nice way to control the white. And in doing so, has completely freed up these 2 reds. So he can actually win the frame from here without making another cannon.
40. 41.
Obviously he wants to win the frame, but he would love to do it with some fluency as well, and maybe make a big break to lead into the next frame. Neither player yet has really been able to do so. It's been very sort of stop-start, a couple of chances missed either way, and a couple of the frames, you know, very O'Sullivan-like. But he's made this break really nicely so far. Controlled the white perfectly,
49.
really, which is what he's the best at in the world by a mile, is his cue ball control, which is one of the reasons why he plays so quickly as well, is because the white's not doing much travelling around the table. So he can just quickly shuffle into the next shots with a series of stun shots and little cannons, and you know, it's beautiful to watch. And the important thing is that Stuart in his chair doesn't admire what Ronnie's doing. You know, you need to focus on your own game. He'll be well aware of what Ronnie's capable of. And when you play Ronnie, you have to respect him, but you can't really admire him when he's at the table.
Yeah, there's been plenty of players who've turned up to play and fallen in love with him in the chair.
64.
It's that good to watch.
65.
And it almost looks like lift-off's about to happen here. There's been a good focus in this break. Cue ball's been immaculate, well, apart from the last shot, which has come straight. Yes, he can get on this red, but it requires screw and reverse side now, which it got to absolute perfection. Beautiful.
72. $73. $79.
Yeah, I won't be too bothered about that. Not much you could do really. Tight to the cushion, but have you ever seen an easier 79 than that? Makes it look so ridiculously simple. Looks like there might be takeoff coming. Ronnie O'Sullivan leads 7 frames to 6.
Or the tables being slightly harder is making it more of a leveller out there, and it's hard to know which one's going to be the telling outcome.
Yeah, well, that's his best break of the afternoon, and it's put him 7-6 in front. Back we go. John, Neil, frame 14.
Yeah, thanks, Hazel. And Ronnie shake of the head there from his break off. He's left a possible for Stuart here, which of course he takes. I have to say he's been much stronger that side of the table than he has on the other, for whatever reason. Anything down that side has generally been dispatched, but the other side hasn't been quite the same. And Ronnie was absolutely kicking himself in his chair there for leaving this opportunity.
Yeah, there are certain players who are actually much stronger on one side of the table, and I have noticed that with Stuart as well, that he is stronger on that side, especially floating in those shots to nothings. For whatever reason, he sees them, just better on that side of the table. And so when you're playing safety against Stuart, that's the one thing that's the side of the table you don't want to leave him on. You want to leave him, reds to go out on the other side of the table because you don't believe he's as strong. So that's why Ronnie was really disappointed with the break-off, because he practices with Stuart, would know his better side. So he knew Stuart had every chance of potting that in, and he played it very confidently as well, did Stuart. He played to hold it short of the bulk line. And this is Stuart's strength as well, as obviously the break building, and there aren't many better around the black spot than Stuart. He's made so many 147s. I think, is he maybe third on the all-time list behind Ronnie and John Higgins and Stephen Hendry. I'm not too sure how many he's on, but he loves making them, especially in practice as well. Obviously can't make one here, but he'll be looking to maybe stun this in and flick a few of the reds out. Lost control of the white a little bit, so. But he has flicked them out, and the 2 reds do pot into the middle, so just sort of like float this one in and leave one of the 2 reds into the middle.
Yeah, big shot this. Well played. I missed a far simpler black. It cost him a frame earlier today. Only needed to drop it in and got punished.
28.
So definitely concentrated well on that. And in answer to your question before, he's made the maximum 9 times. As Stuart. Tournament play, which is some going. Always been an excellent break builder. Wow. Can you believe it? What a miss.
Stuart Bingham, 28.
Just looked like he was getting going himself there.
Yeah, because the black was a much harder shot than this. The black really required good cueing, and I guess maybe Stuart felt that was the key red to get back into full control. And we saw Ronnie in really good rhythm in the break he made in the last frame. So Ronnie will be coming to the table feeling really good. He's not searching to get his eye in here. He'll be feeling good. Really good control of the cue ball. And and he's the best in the world at, well, not only is he the greatest player of all time, but he's also the best I've ever seen at pouncing on mistakes and not letting his opponent breathe out there. If Ronnie's knocking in long balls, or any top player is knocking in long balls and creating chances and scoring heavily off it, it's much easier to accept in your chair. But when you get a good scoring chance yourself at the table, and if you let someone like Ronnie in, these are the frames and the moments that can be most damaging.
Oh, he's been a bit unlucky there. He's played the screw cannon, knowing full well that the red would go in the middle pocket. And unfortunately for him, one's come out and covered it. That's why he played that shot. He thought he had the insurance of the red in the middle pocket.
Ronnie, 11-14.
Oh, speculative pot there really in these middle pockets, that one, but didn't think he could leave anything. Yeah, well picked out. It was definitely worth a go. Knocked it in, he'd got some rewards. And the way he played it was covering any other reds for potting, so that was another example of shrewd shot choice. Well, at least I thought it was. What a pot that was. Absolutely fabulous. Yeah, put that one in the highlight reel. That was a corker.
Yeah, and Stuart just nodded in the chair of appreciation for it as well, because Ronnie was leaving the red near the yellow pocket there, and so he was fully committed on it. He's actually hit the wrong red there. That's unbelievable.
Do you know, Neil, I looked at it and thought, that's tight. You know, when you see from the right behind it, I thought that is... And to actually pot it, hitting the other red, well, when does that happen?
Yeah, it's like he hit them both at the same time. It was, it was incredible, really. Bit of a stretch here, though, and bridging over the red. Oh, he's nearly 2 feet off the table here. And of course, he's one of the few players on the tour who don't have a little extension in the back of the cue. I think Ronnie and Shaun Murphy are the only two players I think that I can think of on tour that don't have like that little extension that you can put into the back of the cue to help you reach with those shots in particular. I'm not too sure what the reason is. I think Shaun is probably
13.
Probably just doesn't like the idea of not having to use the rest with how much he likes to get the rest out.
Yeah, I suppose when you're that good, it's not a problem, is it? But what was noticeable there earlier was how much time Ronnie took on that green there. He knew that was a very important shot. Settled himself. Yes, his footing was a bit awkward, but he gave himself that little extra beat of time there. He knew that green was important.
21.
And he's looking ready to pounce here. You have to say that opening red deserves everything it gets. Yeah, trying to do the maths, working out which colours he can take.
$29.
Yeah, What an opening red this was. Absolutely perfect. You cannot hit a snooker ball better than that.
33.
So he's just working out the score here. He doesn't really want to have to play the red that's closest to the green. He doesn't really sort of like frame ball or have to do anything with it. So he'd like to win the frame without having to need that red. So he's 20 in front, 25 with the blue. So he won't need that red as long as he stays on the pink and blue for these last two reds as well.
Yeah, I suppose one of those situations, like you mentioned, this just want to make sure he gets rid of that red, though. Doesn't he want any messing around with snookers? He looks like he's starting to get into a flow here.
39.
79 and last was very easily made. Looks like he's scoring well here. Last thing he needs to do is have a
40.
10 or 15 minute battle of safety with snookers involved. So get this, get the red, call that, and drop that one in up there, and that'll be end of frame. And I feel it's very important at the moment for Stuart Bingham. This is a
47.
a real part of this match. This could start to run away here. Not easy, I know, but
48.
Ronnie looks like he's just starting to play. So his chances are going to be very important. Yeah, just make sure you knock this in. 40 points ahead. That'll do it.
55.
And you have to say, he's starting to look good, Neil, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. That opening red, similar to the last frame, the opening red in the last frame, into the middle was struck so well. The one into the yellow pocket just now
59.
was struck even better, and it's one of the best sounds I think you can hear in any sport, is like the ball hitting the back of the pocket on the snooker table. And it was important that he landed on the last red really well, because, like you say, you don't want to be carrying on, someone needing snookers, and then 10, 15 minutes of safety play can get you out of your rhythm. So he's going to be soon into the next
66.
one, and 8-6 in front. So at worst case, he's going 8-all into the final session later tonight. But knowing Ronnie, he'll definitely want to press on the advantage and push through to 9-6 and possibly even 10-6.
71.
Well, it was 79 in the last frame. And it's 8 and 4 in this. And he's starting to play. I don't blame Stuart Bingham leaving the auditorium. He knows how big these next two frames are. Ronnie O'Sullivan is starting to look very good. He leads 8 frames to 6.
The wounds there, it's sort of, you can prise it open yourself. So basically, it's like he wants the bell to ring now, and he'd be pleased to get out, like 9-7 now.
Yeah. So speaks a snooker assassin in Steve Davis. Right, we go, frame 15.
Yeah, he's got. But I know exactly what he means. We've all been there. But he does need, you would think, Stuart to win one of the two at least. 9-7. Okay, won't be great, but it won't be that bad either.
Yeah, he won't be best pleased with his break off there as well. He's not only left the shot to nothing on, but a few inches off the cushion as well, so Ronnie can just dig down and sort of float it in with a touch of left-hand side. Yeah, like that. And there's 3 or 4 open reds here as well. Played it short of the bulk line, which is always a sign of confidence from a player as well.
Well, this one goes, but it's certainly tight. Yeah. Played on the outside, red, which would have been a gimme, but when he got there...
Ronnie, 7-4.
That one, well, if you were right behind it, you'd fancy him knocking it in, but when it was on an angle into the blind pocket, made it a bit more difficult. May have gotten away with this. Okay, he's left the red. That's on the balk line, but requires good cueing again. He's just teetering at the minute. Good pot. And he's got an angle on the green. Little pocket. The red that's next to the black is potable, I think, into the top left-hand pocket. So he can come down that side of the table off the green. Well, two of them go. I'd love to have been
4.
on the one next to the black pretty straight so he didn't have to play any cannons. So he has to take the other one.
Five.
This is an important visit, Neil, isn't it? Just got to re-establish himself here.
Yeah, and that was a great shot on the green to come down for the two reds, and it'll be interesting to see where the black goes. I don't think there's room for it to go on the pink spot, so Desislava will be putting it directly in line as close as possible. Oh, here we go. Trouble with this black spot again. Yeah. Because if it rocks back low, it makes the red definitely pot. It should be potable anyway because it is above the black spot. Yeah, it's plenty of room there.
Would you please stay still? Thank you.
Just someone moving around a bit on Stuart's shot. So I think the bottom red, the bottom of the pack there, the red still pots if you land straight on it. So as long as he can run through these reds now and get onto the black and open a few more reds, he should be in a really good position here.
21.
Yeah, showing good character here, Stuart. Certainly did in his last match playing Jack Lazowski. He was 70-odd points behind. 11 all in that match and, well, managed to pinch the frame. And he'd lost momentum. Jack was on top in that match. So he managed to find something from somewhere and then played a great final frame.
20.
So there's plenty of character there, as you'd imagine, from a Masters and World Champion. He knows the score.
29.
And he certainly knows how important it is to win at least one of these final two frames. Well, they're pretty close, but it's turned out well. For the angle, certainly. Can be tricky little shots, these, particularly with the rest being so close. Don't want to push through. Played it well.
35. Forty-two. I think it's your radio. It's a bit too loud. Thank you.
Yeah, just needs a little time here just to work out his plan. Yeah, decided to play with a little bit of check side just to stop the cue ball running away. This is definitely coming to the boil nicely, this match.
50.
Last two visits from Ronnie have been excellent. And so far from Stuart, likewise. So both players knowing the significance of the scoreline going into the final session this evening. And they don't get much time, by the way. One of them anomalies in the draw where you don't just about enough time to grab a sandwich and you're back, Neil.
Yeah, I've had to play this session twice. And I think, you know, the Mike Ganley, the tournament director, will be very aware of the time as well.
51.
And may even choose to pull the players off a frame early if he thinks that they won't have enough time to sort of, you know, get back to the dressing room and get a bite to eat and, you know, have some kind of preparation going into the final session. It is always a strange one because I remember being a seed here, one of the first things you look at is hopefully you don't have to play that session potentially. And you'd have to say with how fit Ronnie is, it won't really affect him as perhaps some of the other players around. So
58.
it won't really bother Ronnie too much. He'll be fine. He'll be focused and, you know, he'll be feeling good.
Key shot coming up here. Taking these well so far. The red in the middle pocket with a stunt, and he'll keep himself on the pink. Well played. He's taken these beautifully, it has to be said. And looked a little on the edge at the start of this frame, but this contribution has been top class. Good character.
$65. $66.
Yep, the standard's going up, that's for sure.
$72. $73. $80.
Yeah, we say Stuart is a scoring machine, and if he manages to make
81.
a century here, it'll be his half century of centuries at the Crucible. He can score when he gets amongst the pink and black.
87. $88. 95.
And just drop this in the middle. Up for a bow colour.
96.
And this for the century. Well played, Stuart Bingham. Absolute class. Wonderful cue ball control. Brilliantly constructed. I think one player is just kicking the other one on.
$107.
Let's see if it's right. No, need to work on your cue ball control there, Stuart.
112.
Well, that's how you do it, because you can't play a century break much better than that. Well played, Stuart Bingham. An absolutely fabulous contribution. Wonderful break when he needed it the most. This is turning into a proper match now. Ronnie O'Sullivan leads by 8 frames to 7.
He's not light-hearted, but he's a lovely character and just enjoys it.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Relentlessly positive, actually. It always seems to me like he bounces around the table. And actually, I'm sure in some respects that's reflected in the attitude of his coach, Chris Henry, who really imbues that sense of positivity around the table as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And he has to, as I said, you know, rely on all those great memories of him being at the Crucible, the great matches. And also, it gives off positive body language to his opponent. To say, I'm enjoying this. I'm not going to carrow into a little shell and be afraid of Ronnie O'Sullivan. I'm going to put it up to you and see what happens.
We have a match, gentlemen.
We certainly do. And we have a very big final frame of this session. Will it be all square, or will Ronnie be 2 ahead? Been very entertaining, full stop, but the last 3 frames have been absolute class from both players. How to construct the break and make it look easy. Wasn't planning on the red coming out. Fabulous cue ball again, but the red over the corner wasn't in the plan. It's not much you can do with these nail overs. You just got to make sure you knock them in.
Yeah, he just came around to have a look to see if the black passes the red. We'll soon know by the way he plays this shot. Well, it does, so... he's played this so well. Perfectly played.
Absolutely wonderful shot. Didn't think at first he could hold that, but he has. Well done to the table fitter as well. Must have been needed to be a pure strike and stay straight. Exactly what it did.
So I'm pretty sure once the black goes, it's not potable in either pocket. So Stuart was looking for an angle on one of these 2 reds to be able to squeeze out for the pink or possibly the blue. There might be a gap where he can land onto the pink in the left middle, which is what he's looking at now. But if he doesn't have the angle to get up for the blue, he's going to really have to try and force something.
Yeah, I think the gap for the pink might be favourite. It's not the biggest, but you can get the cue ball there. Pot it in the middle. You could also force it, I think. Might be able to force it out. He's having a look. He's come back. That's the area I'd like to leave it in there. The funny thing is, the further away from the pink the cue ball is, the more chance you've got of potting it. If you take it too tight, you'll close the gap. That looks perfect.
So now the pink's tied up. The black also doesn't pot. So he would like to get one or of the pink or black
50.
into play. So he's going to come down for the blue. So it's vital here that he lands right side of the blue. Or the bulk colour, that's fine. And it depends how precise he wants to be
16.
moving forward with this break. He might play to go into the pack off the blue at one point, or he might try and pick those reds off below the black, which will then eventually free the black into either pocket. It all just depends on how he wants to sort of go about building the break here. These shots are always
20.
little testers. Standing up for the blue, really important to land right side because he is running out of reds where he can get a good angle on the blue. Struck this really well. He's perfect.
21.
Lovely. Just a little tricky at the moment. As Neil mentioned, the black doesn't go in either of the top two pockets, so he'd like to get one of the reds away as soon as possible. It's just presently awkward.
26.
Yeah, he's not great on the one directly he's looking at now. Not much you can do off that one. So it's the top red. Yeah, it was a problem.
27.
Now, does the pink go in the middle? He doesn't look too disappointed. Oh, I think it may do. It's tight, but you can pot that. This is a very big shot, especially the way the reds are spread. If you take it on, you'd better knock it in.
Yeah, the pink doesn't go off the near jaw, so the important thing is here to almost pretend the red isn't even there, because what you can do is overcompensate sometimes and play it off the far jaw. Oh, he's played that really well. That's a great shot.
Back in pot. Wasn't all of the pocket there.
33.
And how well has he played
34.
the last frame and a half?
$39.
Still one good positional shot after this red. There's two reds in between the pink and black spot that definitely pot in either corner pocket. So this is the key shot coming up really. If he lands good on one of these two reds, then he should be fine, and we're looking at 8 all. All depends on the angle on the brown and the green. He doesn't want to have a natural angle to screw in off from the brown, so it might be the green. So it's all about judging the pace of this shot. And he's got quite a big area to land in between here. Looks like he's played it absolutely perfect.
43.
Yeah, tough shot to get back up the correct side of the blue, that one. To play with a bit of force, not a lot of angle in it. So key shot coming up. Can he get in and out of the baulk area and back down for a red without hitting one of the baulk colours? Oh, plenty of screw inside there, missed it. How's your luck, Stuart? Through the gap. Well, he's got a pot at a red.
49.
A little bit of pressure on this one, to say the least. Key shot for me, this one. This one goes in. Every chance of taking the frame. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yep, all he can do is sit on and watch in admiration of how well Stuart Bingham's played in these last two frames. And if he was wondering whether Stuart was up for the fight, I think he's just getting his answer. It ain't going to be easy.
$56. $62. $63.
And what a time to produce your two best frames of the match when you need it most. This has been absolutely exemplary cue ball control.
69.
And at 8-6, it was looking a little dodgy, to say the least. The two frames he's produced here have been
70.
absolutely top class. World-class snooker at its very best, this.
$76. $77.
You'd have thought, the way Ronnie was playing, that you'd go over 200 points without reply when he went 8-6 in front, but that's what's happened. Make no mistake, as I say, he loves the century. He'll be trying to go back to back in the century stakes here.
84.
We've got some game tonight, Neil.
85.
Yeah, we do, and you know both players are fully aware of what's at stake. And Stuart's responded really well because it looked like he was struggling just a little bit at 8-6 down. I guess the shot that really turned it around was when Ronnie was on the green and overscrewed it for the Reds
92.
when he was 8-6 in front. And since then, Stuart's been absolutely brilliant to win these last two frames, which he really needed to do. He couldn't afford going 9-7 down.
Is the cocked up there? It's not quite. But what a fabulous frame of snooker that was from Stuart Bingham. Brilliant near the end. Ronnie led 8-6, but the last two frames of Stuart Bingham were absolutely top draw. And I don't know what you're doing for the next hour and a quarter, but get it over with. You need to be here tonight at 7 o'clock. We've got a match on. It's 8 each.